At 6:25 in the morning, before the first meeting of the day, you stand in a hallway that still feels half asleep. The city is reflected on the dark glass beside you. The air conditioner hums like it never gets tired. One row of motion sensor lights goes out, then another, like the building is slowly forgetting you are there. And in that quiet, something in you feels loose. What happens when everyone knows you as the reliable one, but no one sees how much it costs to keep being that person? This is the exhaustion of being dependable for everyone. In this video, we'll slow down and name why it feels so heavy, why it can be hard to step out of that role, and one gentle way to notice yourself inside it. Being the reliable one is when people come to you first, trust you fast, and quietly expect you to stay steady, even when you are already carrying more than they can see. It can look calm from the outside. You answer the family message. You remember the appointment. You check whether your younger sibling got home. You bring the extra charger, the extra plan, the extra patience. At work, you are the person who catches the missing detail before it becomes a problem. At home, you are the one who senses the mood in the room and adjusts before anyone asks. People may even admire it. They may say you are strong, responsible, thoughtful, mature, and maybe part of you is proud of that. You learned how to be useful. You learned how to keep things from falling apart. You learned how to be the person others can lean on. But after a while, being leaned on can start to feel less like trust and more like weight. One common reason is that reliability can become your place in the family before you ever choose it. Maybe you were the oldest. Maybe people expected you to understand more, complain less, and help sooner. Over time, you learned that staying calm made things easier for everyone, even when it made things quieter inside you. So years later, at a family gathering, someone hands you a problem before they even finish explaining it, and your body already starts making room for it. That can leave you feeling needed, but strangely unseen. For a lot of people, it starts when praise becomes tied to usefulness. When people keep thanking you for being easy, strong, organized, or patient, it can slowly teach you that your value shows up most clearly when you are helping. Rest can start to feel awkward, like you are forgetting your role for a moment. You might be sitting at the table during a birthday dinner, hearing everyone laugh, while one part of you is still tracking who looks upset, who drank too much, who may start an argument, and who may later ask you to smooth it over. The room is full, but your attention is not free. There's also a quieter reason. Reliable people often get fewer check-ins. Not because people do not care. Sometimes they simply assume you are fine because you have always looked fine enough. Your steadiness becomes the evidence they use to stop wondering about you. So when you are tired, you may not know how to bring it up without feeling like you are disturbing the version of you that everyone depends on. That is one of the loneliest parts of this pattern. Being trusted so much that people forget to ask how heavy trust feels. It is easy to miss the emotional contradiction here. You may love the people you show up for. You may not want to become cold, selfish, distant, or unavailable. You may even feel grateful that they trust you. But at the same time, a part of you may feel angry that your care keeps becoming the default setting. And that anger can bring its own guilt. Because reliable people often do not only carry tasks, they carry the discomfort of not wanting to carry them. They carry the fear of disappointing people who have built routines around their steadiness. They carry the quiet question, if I stop being useful for a moment, will people still know how to be close to me? This can show up in small ways. You see a message come in and already know what it will ask. You pause before opening it, not because you do not care, but because your body knows the request may become another invisible job. You hear someone say, "Can you just?" And the word just feels heavier than the favor itself. You start to answer before you even check whether you have the room for it. A reliable person may not break loudly. Sometimes they go quiet in the bathroom for a few extra minutes. Sometimes they sit in the car after arriving home and do not unbuckle right away. Sometimes they keep helping while feeling oddly far away from their own life. They are present, but a little withdrawn. Kind, but thin. Capable, but not exactly okay. It's late afternoon at a family party, and you are the eldest child standing near the kitchen counter with a stack of paper plates in one hand. Someone is laughing in the living room. Someone is asking where the candles are. Someone else is telling you that your cousin feels hurt and maybe you can talk to them because they listen to you. Your phone buzzes from work, because the morning meeting left one small issue unresolved, and everyone seems to assume you will know what to do with that too. You look toward the window, and the city outside is turning orange behind the glass. For a second, you do nothing. Not because you are confused. You know exactly what each person wants. That is part of the exhaustion. The hard part is not knowing what to do. The hard part is noticing that every direction seems to lead back to you. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. This is the tiredness of being the person who holds the room together while quietly wondering who would notice if you stepped out of it. And often, The pain is not that people ask. The pain is that they ask as if your capacity is endless. A gentle place to begin is noticing the moment before you automatically say yes. Not changing your whole personality. Not becoming someone else. Just catching the tiny pause that already exists. The half second after the request lands, before the reliable version of you takes over. In that pause, you might quietly ask, "Do I actually have room for this right now?" Not as a perfect answer, just as a way to bring yourself back into the room. Because the reliable role can train you to measure every situation by what other people require. That small question lets your own capacity enter the conversation too. Even if you still help, something changes when you notice that helping was a choice, not just a reflex. You can also separate care from ownership. Care might sound like, "I'm sorry this is happening." Ownership sounds like quietly making yourself responsible for solving the whole thing. Care can stay human. Ownership can become heavy very fast. At the family table, care may mean listening for a minute. Ownership may mean managing the argument, repairing the mood, making sure no one leaves upset, and then blaming yourself if the night still feels tense. The difference is small on the outside, but it can feel large inside. This does not mean you stop loving people. It means your love does not always get measured by how much pressure you absorb. And there's something else here that is not talked about enough. Sometimes the reliable one is not exhausted because they are weak. They are exhausted because they have been running a private system no one else can see. A system of remembering, smoothing, preventing, adjusting, checking, answering, and staying calm. That kind of effort does not always leave proof. There may be no dramatic event, no big fight, no obvious reason you feel so tired. Just the soft click of hallway lights turning off behind you. The glass holding the city in its dark reflection. The steady sound of the air conditioner acting like nothing ever stops. And you, standing there, realizing that being dependable has given people comfort, while leaving you with very little room to be held. This is for people who look fine, but keep checking inside. For the eldest child who became the backup plan. For the friend everyone calls in a crisis. For the person at work who keeps catching the thing before it drops. For anyone who has been praised for being easy while quietly becoming less available to themselves. Maybe the first sign of softness is not doing less right away. Maybe it is noticing the weight while you are still carrying it. Maybe it is letting one honest sentence exist inside you. "I am reliable, and I am tired." That sentence does not make you unkind. It does not erase your care. It simply gives your inner life a place to stand. And sometimes, after years of being everyone's steady surface, that small place to stand can feel like the first quiet breath you have taken all day.